folks. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Black Success Magazine podcast. What a great day this is, man. I just got off the phone with a real big heavyweight guy. It's actually a late actually doing the podcast just because, big conversation. So it was very cool. So I want to welcome you all to the podcast today. And we're doing this pretty regularly now. Just getting them out there, just pumping them out. And we've got something really cool to talk about today. We're going to talk about protecting and projecting our next generation of leaders. And so, let me change. I'm going to fix this camera here just a little bit. There we go. Can you see me now? Yeah, there we go. So we're going to talk about protecting and projecting our next generation of leaders. I'm very excited about this. This is fresh, hot off the presses stuff. So I think you're going to get something about this. And for those of you, this might be the first time you're listening to us at Black Success Magazine podcast. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Black Success Magazine. We're actually celebrating. We're coming up on our 6th year. Get that, 6th year of producing stuff. I mean, it's been a labor of love, and and as a matter of fact, coming up 2024. We're actually going to get the magazine back up and running. So not only will you be able to go on our website and see some cool stuff, great articles, but if you'd like to subscribe to our magazine, you can actually get that. And we've got some things that we're really going to be bringing out. I'm not going to tell you about them yet. We'll reveal them next week, or actually late December, so you can actually be ready for that coming up. So we are right now, so if you want to go to our website now, and some of you want to go to our website right now, go to www.blacksuccessmagazine.com. It's blacksuccessmagazine.com. And on that website, you'll actually see articles, you'll see some videos. You'll also be able to check out our podcast. So this podcast will actually be up there, in probably a couple hours or so, and you'll actually be able to check that out. And a myriad of other things. We're actually going to be adding even more and more stuff to that website so you can actually check it out. So we'll do some leadership stuff, and we'll do some inspirational stuff. I think we're going to even do some fashion stuff. Oh, yeah. Nothing like a sharp-dressed man or woman, right? Because we have a lot of ladies who listen to it. We actually had, we won't talk about that. Let's talk about, before we get going here, guys, let's do this. Let's take a really short break, and we'll be back in just a second with some more Black Success Magazine, because I think it's something we need to do. Okay, here, we'll be back in just a second. So many of you know that we do a lot of stuff here. I was actually the founder of the Black Business Chamber in Las Vegas. So on that, if you can check that out on Facebook if you want. It's a bunch of people, almost 5,000 business owners that are a part of that, and really are. That's very influential crowd of people who've been a part of that. And we also have done golf tournaments, we've done networking events, that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, one time for about 5 years, we ran this networking group that lasted for 5 years. We had about 200 business owners that were a part of that. And a part of that was we had the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, we had the Rotary Club, we had the Who else did we have? And we had that Asian chamber was a part of our group. I don't think the Hispanic chamber was a part of our group. But these guys would all come to our group because they wanted to find out why we were having such success with all these and it wasn't even a black business chamber at the time. It was just a networking group that we had, and it was called Diversity Networking Group. So Diversity Networking Group, and so we had that group for about 5 years, as I said. It was wonderful. It was a labor of love, and but we moved on, opened up a restaurant, and but now we're back. We're back with Black Success Magazine. So excited about it and about what we're going to be able to do. So let's talk about 10. We'll talk about some keys to protecting and projecting your children into greatness. Okay, protect them, project them into greatness. And why are we doing stuff like this? Well, folks, in order for our next generation of Black successful people will depend upon how we protect them now and project them into the future. And some of you are watching this video, and you'll be watching this on our YouTube channel. I hope I don't start crying about this, because this is probably one of the most sensitive things to me as a dad, as a grandpa, as a teacher, as an educator, as a businessman. Our next generation is all we have. That's really that's our legacy. Will be the kids that we raise up now. I went to a football game of my granddaughter yesterday. Genesis is her name, and how many of my grandkids were there? 4 of my grandkids were there at the game. And when Jenny saw us in the crowd, she comes running over, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna cry. You know, I'm so glad you guys came." That's my legacy. And so she's the girl. She was playing flag football, and then I had 3 other of the boys that were there, and they were watching their sister, and they won. They won 58-0 over this other team. They just killed them. But they are my legacy. The things they want to do in life, and I get to see my grandkids a lot, because I've got 10 grandkids, and I get to see them all the time. And I get to ask them, "What are you going to do? What are you going to be when you grow up?" And I'm so glad that they want to do more. They want to go to college. They want to. We owned a restaurant for about 7 years. One of my grandkids wants to be a chef, because I was a chef at my restaurant during the time when he was a kid. My other kids, mimic the things that they've seen me do in life. And as we talk a little bit about some of these things, I'll relate some of these stories to you, because we are raising up our next generation of doctors and lawyers and politicians, as businessmen, the next generation of kids. That's what we're doing right now. And if we don't, and if we are not purposeful in what we're doing, we're leaving it up to chance, guys. And chances are they're going to be swallowed up. They'll be swallowed up by the world. All my kids are doing really well right now in life, and I'm so proud of every one of them. But it wasn't because I left it up to chance, guys. It just wasn't. I didn't just let my kids grow. I tried to mold them and to guide them in life. And they're all just rock stars, which I'm so excited about. Not that it was perfect. I don't want you to get any idea that it was perfect. No, it was not. Okay? As a matter of fact, there was a struggle the whole time, because guess what? The world is trying to pull your kids in to doing what the world wants to do. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the world is trying to mold your kids. It is up to you to mold your kids. So the first key to protecting and projecting our kids into greatness is start when they're young. Okay, start when they're young. Give your kids a great starting point by instilling in them great thoughts, right beliefs from the time that they come out of the womb. I mean, literally, but even before they come out of the womb, play music, do whatever. But you cannot wait till they're 13 and 14 years of age to do things with these kids. You've got to start from the time that they're young. So if you're just starting a family right now, okay, when your kid is that big, a little baby kid, okay, you start instilling some of the things we're talking about right now, and I guarantee you this kid will be awesome. I guarantee you, okay? Will there be a struggle? Yes. There's always going to be a struggle. But You can do it. You can do this because you plant a seed in them now, and it takes a little while, but it will grow. Okay? Start when they're young. Number 2, model greatness. Once you need to model that greatness. There's an old saying that says that you can't take anybody where you've not been. And I wrote this down today, so that's why I'm kind of fumbling over this. There's a saying that says you can't take anybody where you've not been. In many cases, we have people who maybe don't know the greatest things in life to do. Maybe they're not. Maybe if you're listening to this, maybe you're not a successful businessman. Maybe you're not a successful businesswoman. Okay. And it's very hard for you to say, I know how to help my child be an investment person, right? It's very hard for you to say, I know how to teach my kid to do real estate or be an insurance agent or something like that. But you've got to be able to give a person a mentor that your child can model. So here's what I mean. Many of us think that our kids are not watching us, but they are. They're watching us from the time we get up in the morning and they see us, whatever we're doing. They're watching us and they are going to mimic what you do. Let me give you an example. When I was first married to my wife, I used to smoke cigarettes. And my daughter at the time, because when I married my wife, she had small children at the time. My daughter at the time was 3 years old, and she pretended like she was smoking a cigarette sitting in my chair. I had a chair that I used to sit in. Those are the old days. This has been 32 years ago. I had a chair that I used to sit in next to the window, and I would blow my smoke out happily, blowing my smoke out. My wife, that evening, I got home. My wife tells me, she goes, our daughter, my new stepdaughter, was pretending like she was smoking a cigarette. And needless to say, I quit smoking. Literally within like a day. That was it. I was done. That was it. Literally, I seriously did. I went cold turkey. That was it. I was done. Why? Because my kid was watching me. And she wanted to be just like me. Your kids want to be just like you. So you have to model success. Being a successful person. Being somebody who's honorable, somebody who has integrity. You want to model that for your kid because they are watching you. Yes, they're watching the world, but they're watching you too. And they're watching you if you are doing what you're saying to do. You can't tell your kid be a good kid and you're a bad guy. Okay? This is much longer, folks, but for time's sake, we can't do forever. Okay? Number 3. Reinforce greatness. Okay? You generally get what you praise your kids for. If your kids are doing great things, then they need to know it. If your kids are getting straight A's, man, you need to just jump up and down for it. Okay? Don't just say, don't go, well, you could have done better. No, don't do that. You need to reinforce if your kids are doing great things. If they made their beds up, you just give them a high five and make a big deal about it, okay? Make a big deal about it because guess what? Kids love that. They'll keep doing it. If your kid came in early, oh man, you high five them. You say, oh, you did great. They did this. They made up their bed. Whatever they did, you reinforce greatness in your kid. Okay, it's not always about making money. It's about them knowing that they are worthy of something. They're doing great things in life, okay? If they do something wrong, do you correct them? Well, sure, you correct them, but you don't make that the big deal, okay? You big deal them being great. You big deal them brushing their teeth. You big deal them saying great things, being nice to their baby brother or baby sister. You make big great things that they're doing. You make it a production out of it, so they know good things come to those people who do good things. Okay. Next one, Surround them with greatness. Huh? Come on, this is a good one. One of the key things that you can do for your child is just to surround them with greatness. It's not enough just to allow your kids to see great people doing things, but they need to be fully immersed. And I love this. Immersed in the world of high achievers. Okay? One of the things that when they teach you how to speak a different language, one of the things that they do is they say the best way to learn a new language is to be immersed in that culture, so that you understand that when people say, libre, or when they say playa or something like that, and they see it, okay, vaso con vino, or 7-Up, that they're immersed in that environment. Same thing with success. You need to surround your kid with greatness. Surround them with high-achieving people. Surround them with people who are alpha males, who are at the top of their game, so they can associate their new environment, so they can feel comfortable in that environment. It's like being a fish. You don't put a fish on dry land, right? You put a fish in water, and that fish will start. It'll grow in that water. The same thing, kind of this, in a roundabout way. You put people in the right environment. Guess what? They're going to adapt to that environment. If you put a child in a high achieving environment, okay, where kids are doing great things, okay, where they're playing music, where they're doing math, where they're being respectful to their adults. You put them in church. Guess what? Your kids are going to be more like? They're going to be more like church kids. Okay, they're going to reject mediocrity. They're going to reject the ways of the world, and they're going to actually become more like the people that you surround them with. Am I in favor of having your kids in a parochial school, or a private school, or a non-traditional school like a charter school? Oh, you better believe it. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Why? Because the kids that are in those kind of schools generally come from households where they put an emphasis on being excellent, getting the most out of their education. Those are some of the best things that you want to put your kids around. I can tell you right now, black politicians, probably to a man, send their kids to private schools. Why? Because they want their kid to be like them. They want their kid to be a leader in the nation. People who have businesses, all my friends who have businesses, to a man, have taken their kids out of public schools and put them in private schools. Why? Because they want their kids to be high achievers. They want them to make more money. They want them to be smarter. They want them to be more focused. They don't want all the things that are happening out in the world, okay? And when I say the world, I mean out in the regular 9-to-5 world, to influence their kids to do anything other than be a high achiever. So all of my kids and all of my relatives' kids who are multimillionaires, their kids are, that's the way they know. They know their reality is being a high achiever, a high money earner, being a philanthropic person, okay, which means being a giving person, okay? That's all they know. Were they always like that growing up? No, absolutely not, because kids tend to be naturally selfish, naturally lazy. They have to be taught these things, and it's up to you to protect them and to project them into greatness. And the only way they can learn that is by you purposefully, and I said this at the beginning, purposefully projecting them into and putting them into situations that will help them become better kids. Okay? I think we've got time for one more. Yeah, I think so. Feed them greatness. Okay? Okay? The first one we said was start them out when you're young. The second thing we said was model greatness. The third thing was reinforce greatness. Then we said surround them with greatness. And the last one is feed them greatness. Okay? Every growing person needs to be fed. Everyone. We all need to be fed. Greatness is something that can actually be fed to your kids. You do this by giving them great books to read, watching videos, taking them to concerts. A regular diet of greatness, which is age appropriate to your kids. Tapes by some of the greatest minds in the world. We are at a great time in life because we have the internet, right? We have the internet, and because we have the internet, the whole world is open to us. Okay, and so instead of your kid playing, mindless games, on and on and on and on and on go until you can't get them off the computer, how about feed them content that will feed them greatness? It could be speeches. It could be stories about great people. It could be, once you get a kid moving that direction, it's very hard to get them off of that. They want it more and more and more. And that is one of the most pleasing things that I can see. So let me tell you a real quick story, and we'll end with this. My grandson, who is now 20, he just turned 20, our oldest grandson, I used to be a part of a network marketing organization, which has since closed. But we had such high hopes on it. This was many, many years ago, almost probably 15 years ago. So he used to come with us to the meetings. You take a 5-year-old kid to these meetings, okay, 4-year-old kid. And at first it was like, well, he's kind of rolling around, on the floor. But then all of a sudden, he started wanting to take his own briefcase with him to our meetings. Now, we'd go to these meetings once or twice a week or whatever it is, and we're around a bunch of high-charge people who were wanting to sell, lotion, potion, notion, that kind of stuff. This kid, my grandson, had gone with us so much to these meetings that he understood the compensation plan that he kept hearing over and over and over again. He became a sales guy to the point now as an adult. That's where his mind is at. He's always been that kid that says, hey, I want to start this business. I want to start that business. I want to do this. I want to do that. His first car that he bought it trading stocks when he was 16 years old. Right? How many kids do that? How many kids invest in the stock market at the age of 16 and buy their first car? It just doesn't happen. That's in protecting and projecting your kid into greatness. Folks, we can do this. You really can. We've got quite a few more. Maybe we'll do that on the next podcast, and we'll finish this up. But you can help your kids become just great. You really can. But you have to be intentional, mindful, and focused on doing this. This is our next generation, guys. And you can do it. You can protect them from what's going on in the world right now, and you can project them into the future by just following these first steps. I'm really excited about sharing the rest of them with you. Anyways, if you'd like to hear more about this stuff, folks, we're going to be writing an article, a lengthier article about this, and put it on our website at blacksuccessmagazine.com. Okay, I'm looking really forward to this. I've been really working on this, and this is going to be good. It's really going to be good, so I'm very excited about this. Anyways, this has been Sherman Ray for Black Success Magazine. We'll see you again, folks. If you'd like to contact us, just send me an email at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Go to our website. Go to our YouTube channel at Black Success Magazine. podcast or Black Success Magazine. And you can get, if you don't want to go to our website to pick up, our this podcast, you can go to Spotify or just Google it on Apple Podcasts. We're there too. Okay. Anyways, it's been Sherman Ray. We will see you again, folks. Let me make sure I get this everything working here, I guess. So we'll see you again. Okay. Bye-bye.